What's up, good people? It's your boy Crypto Murph here from the Crypto Money Movers, and it's time to get into our technical analysis segment. And if you've been watching the market, you probably have had a lot of disappointment this week because we've been a lot of up and down, helter skelter. Price action has been all over the place. But what we're going to do here is help you break down BTC. And if you're wondering why we're starting with BTC, is because it's the dominant player in the marketplace. And it's pretty much going to dictate where every cryptocurrency goes, what it does, just kind of how the outlook's going to be for the next probably 48, maybe even it's going to be the indicator for the next foreseeable future. So what we're going to do here is just briefly look into where crypto is, where Bitcoin is right now. One of our pivotal areas is this yellow line right here, which is our 200-day moving average. And we do not by any means want to break that. If we get even close to it, that means we're probably going down into a bearish market, which means your crypto wallets are probably going to be very disappointing. And so are you when you look at your crypto wallets. So with that being said, let's jump over to CoinMarketCap. And just to see kind of what's going on here. So as you can see here, if we want to see just kind of what Bitcoin dominance is doing, or fear and greed, for instance, let's look at fear and greed first. We've seen our index typically over here in the brighter green, which means more people are buying Bitcoin. Well, right now is neutral. So if you're probably wondering, okay, well, what does that mean in terms of my portfolio? Should I be buying? Should I be selling? Well, typically speaking, anytime you're in the green to red area, these are what we like to look at as buying opportunities because the price of Bitcoin is significantly cheaper than it is when it's in the green areas. Furthermore, if you hold altcoins, we all been waiting for altcoin season, as they say. What we can see on our landing page, CoinMarketCap, is how the performance of the top 100 coins over the last 3 months. Everything in the red obviously has been taking a beat down. However, I remain optimistic because some of these coins are still, they're on deck to do all-time highs, and I can assure you. So if we're looking at Bitcoin, the most important thing first is to do a top-down analysis. Top-down analysis starts with your one-day time frame, which we clicked on here. We want to see kind of what the trend for Bitcoin has been over the day. And what we can see when we include our indicators, let's just click on this. This is our stochastic RSI. Does not look good. So what we see is that we hit a high, and it looks like we're pushing down. So if you're looking at that, then you also want to go to your buying pressure, which is your RSI, your relative strength index. Again, also pushing down. So if we were drawing a chart to see kind of how Bitcoin is expected to perform, we would do something similar to this. We'd be looking, before we would see Bitcoin continue to go back up to the upside, you would see this purple line and this yellow line start to breach this white line. Right now, it doesn't look like it's doing that, right? So it's probably not a good idea right now to be buying Bitcoin if you're just getting into the market. If you have a position that's below what our current price point is, which is 103,772, then maybe you want to be looking at potentially taking profits or maybe getting out of the market in the event that this yellow line, and let me blow this up a little bit, which is 95,568, is breached. So if you look at what we're doing for Bitcoin specifically, we could potentially come down and lose the 100,000 mark, which is a very, very key level of support, which would also affect all the other currencies or all altcoins that are associated with cryptocurrency as well. So let's switch over to CoinMarket.
Crypto Murph, while you make that switch, I have a question for the viewers here because it's something I've looked at and thought about plenty looking at the market. Is there a difference between, so right now we know the market is reacting to what happened in global events with Israel and Iran, right? So we see Bitcoin drop to at present 103,773.64. Is this something that people should be like, oh shoot, Bitcoin is now weak and the market's going to crash? Or is this one of those, sometimes global things happen, bro, and the markets are going to just react And when they do react, it's actually a great buying point versus signaling weakness in Bitcoin or altcoins.
So anytime there's any kind of global event happens, all the global markets are going to take a hit. The most important thing that I would look at, if you're looking specifically at Bitcoin, is the fear and greed index. Anytime you're buying, and it's almost like the most interesting thing ever, because everybody gets in line when this figure is in the green, because it's like the hype. Everybody's talking about it. The same thing that happened with the Dogecoin little debacle, where everybody was telling their friends, "Oh, I just bought the Dogecoin." Everybody went through, thousands of dollars into it, and now it's probably a fraction of what it was when you bought it. Same thing happens here with Bitcoin. I mean, you don't want to necessarily be looking to buy it when it's what's called oversold, if you will, or overbought. I'm sorry, if you will. You want to be buying it when it's neutral, or if it's somewhere towards the fear area, because that's when you're buying at a discount versus a premium. You're buying the dip at that point. And you can use that same strategy across the board for any of the coins. Now, we're not going to be able to see on CoinMarketCap the fear and greed index on each and every altcoin. But what you can do is you can pull your charts up on every one of these coins and see, like, for instance, XRP, very popular coin. If you want to see how it's performed in the day time frame or in the weekly. So in the weekly, we pretty much are relatively flat, but you can see that we're coming down pretty sharp. If I didn't have any XRP and I was potentially looking to add XRP to my bag, this would be a potential buy area, because if you look at it over the course of the last week, this is pretty much, you see a rounded top. This is pretty much a bottom low. So you're not buying a premium. You're buying at the bottom essentially at some point. That's not to say that it can't still scale back a little bit, but your chances of having a good return are increased significantly when you're buying at 209 versus a lot of people who are buying up here at 231 and 240.
Well, and that crypto Murph, that's part of the discussion on the charting, because when I look at CoinMarketCap and I see a $2.1 trillion asset like Bitcoin is down 4.43%, right? But then I go, all right, let's look at ETH. ETH is down 10.41%. That's a 300 billion market cap coin. XRP, 7%. Solana, 11%. Dogecoin, 10%. All your big ones, Cardano, 10%. SUI, SUI, 11.84%. Chainlink, 12.45%. And literally nothing has happened. Like, nobody's been hacked. There hasn't been any scams. There's no rug pulls. These are your major cryptos, bro, like the biggest ones. And all of them are down so much instantaneously in reaction to global events. I look at it like, if Coinbase would let us, because they be tripping sometimes, like, I want to put as much USDC in my account as I can and go buy the projects that I believe in the most to take advantage of the fall. Now, it may fall more.
If you look at a lot of these projects too, you'll realize that, like, for example, XRP is down to 209. That's one of the lowest areas it's been in. It always rebounds to an area around 215, 217, somewhere up there. So if you look at your specific coins and you look at your specific projects, and so, for example, if you get XRP at 209 right now, it consistently stays above 209, even when bad things happen. So I think a lot of those projects are similar to that. And again, now is really a good time to buy, because, again, if you look at XRP or anything else, you'll see consistently it's above 209. So now it's at a discount.
Yeah, it's funny because, so here's the thing too. This is a simple strategy. If you want to just look at these things, even if we're in, like, let's just say it's a slight flash crash because of the global events. If you want to just say, okay, let me look at what's been losing the most, because if the overall market begins to increase again, which it will, then go to the biggest losers, which you can sort here by 24-hour or 7 days. So let's just go by 7 day. And let's click on the biggest losers. So if you want to say, okay, I'm considering jumping in and I want to see some projects, these are all top 100 cryptos, then you can sort by the 7 day percentage and literally just scroll down and say, which ones do I like? FET, it's an AI coin. It's done well. is down 10% essentially on the week, 15% on the day. Fed at 65%, in my honest opinion, is a discount. If you're looking at, let's just keep it going. Algorand is government backed. It's already starting to recover. It's down 5% in the week, 12% on the day. These daily hits are all relative to the global events. So if you want to just be super conservative, you can go literally and go find, coins that have been beaten up on the 24-hour time frame and say, I'm just going to put a little bit of money or a little bit of my resources behind these particular coins and just watch them for the rebound. And what you'll find more times than not is that a lot of leverage money will also get behind these strong projects, especially when they've been, victim to something like we experiencing with the Iran and Israel situation too. So, your strategy is contingent upon kind of what you feel comfortable in investing in terms of your risk management.